So I do want to say something a little bit about Kathy and her way, because Kathy was very unique and I saw her as a very proud person, but also very respectful.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of the first generation teachers, Jay talks about this, I've heard it talked about in Romana's family, that there's a lack of respect nowadays for our elders. And it's a little bit of kind of bringing together what you're saying too. Yeah. About movement in general and about going to somewhere new and accepting what they're teaching and being open to it. But
right.
I feel that Kathy was always really respectful about everything she taught and about the way she gave people credit if she had made something up, definitely. Or it was Mr. Pilates or...
Right. Well, I think that came about from that era pre-lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
You know, you would come up with this exercise, she'd go and teach it to someone, and the next thing you know, she'd go and see it somewhere, and it had been turned into this other thing, and she'd be like, wait, I gave that to this person and made it up.
For this reason.
Yes, and then also, how did that turn into, and that feeling, I think it was very hard at that time to sort of put your blood, sweat, and tears into this, whatever movement it was, I don't know, a cat, and then suddenly you see someone else being like, it's now called the blah blah cat, and I made this up, and she's like, no,
that was mine.
Right. Yeah. And also I think as she got older, it was that idea, you sort of see the future. She knew Eve Gentry, and she thought, God, won't it be sad when nobody knows who that is anymore? And so as she got older, she would say, this is Eve Gentry's Thread the Needle, because she just thought that was an important thing to remember where this stuff came from.
And did she ever tell stories about Joe and Clara, or...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, like what?
Yeah,
Let's talk about that.
Well, one of my favorites is when she learned the hanging.
Yes.
And he got her in the position and left her. And she panicked, and she started twisting her foot around the strap. And as you know, if you keep...
It gets tighter.
And she was really panicked. She was like, oh my God, I'm upside down. I'm stuck.
The first time, you kind of don't really know how you're going to get out.
Right. So that's one of my favorites, is that he sort of just left... out of here.
Went to lunch.
Yeah, came back. I don't know. I know some funny sort of dirty stories. Like every time you did the semicircle, he'd suddenly be down at the bottom of your machine, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, he's human. He's a man.
I mean, he was definitely a different age. And for Clara, she'd always just say that I compare it to a choreographer. Choreographers, when they create, they don't want to explain how you get from point A to point B. They're just
go
they
over
see
there
it,
and come back.
They know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just I don't want to talk about, well, you reach from the shoulder and then you pull in from your sternum. They don't want to break it down. Yeah. Kathy would always say that Clara was the one, if you were really frustrated,
yes,
she'd sort of come over and say, it's okay, honey. Next time we'll work on that.
And then she would break it down?
She was the sort of the more talented sort of teacher in that sense. I always think of Mr. Pilates as the creative genius, and Clara as the soft, okay, let me show you how to break that down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
And Chuck Rappaport talks about at one point after he'd been there all morning, Joe disappears in his apartment for a little while and comes back with a shirt on. Clara was put a shirt on or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean, she has, but she just, those are the stories I remember, just Kathy being left upside down. That's one of my favorites. One was, she was she just had to figure out how to get out of there.
Did she tell any other stories about other people in the studio? John Winters is someone people bring up a lot. And
no, that's the thing. I know. She doesn't really... No,
or Hannah, the driver.
So here's the thing, Kathy. You have to remember, Kathy couldn't see.
I didn't know
She was really. She really
kind of myopic.
Yeah, she could barely see.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she could barely see. So I can imagine her working out and being like, who the hell knows who was around her? I know, it's terrible. But she, when she would get to a new theater, she would have to go, when she was performing, she'd have to go and look at and remember what it looked like, or because so when she had to do the fast changes, she would know 4 steps here, run around. Yeah, she could. And sometimes when she would see people out and about, she'd go yeah, people say hello to me, but they don't realize I can't really see very well, or and maybe I wonder why she never really talked about other people there, because she definitely worked out when there were other people there.
Well, you're kind of in your own world. I do understand. Yeah. I've gone to many studios and not had any idea of anyone else around me besides my teacher. Right. So I know you really well from Kathy's, and I know Kathy really well. And I know there's a ton of people that were there at the same time, but I couldn't tell you who anyone was. So.
Yeah. I don't
It makes
know their
sense.
last names.
Tell us a little bit. Does she say anything about Eve Gentry and working and knowing Eve?
Yes, I think so. The great story about Eve is she met Eve in like San Francisco. There was like a big dance medicine conference, and I think Kathy was invited to teach something.
Okay.
And she taught it, and it didn't go well.
Oh.
Kathy was a very intimate, like, as wonderful as I think her work is, when it came time to put her work on, like, to show
She
it.
was a bit shy about it. It was interesting. I remember thinking, like, this is all it costs to have lessons with Kathy Grant.
Oh, I know. No,
I was like, woohoo!
Yeah, no, it would, like, destroy her. Like, the first time she taught at the PMA, I remember, like, what is that sound? She was freaking doing, like, single leg stretch in bed. Like, it, like...
So nervous.
So nervous. And so she goes to teach this thing, and it doesn't go well. I think people were sort of confronting her with a little bit like, well, what muscles do you use then? And that's not how Kathy worked. It was like, well, I can feel that it's not right. Like, Kathy was an intuitive person. Yes. She didn't back it up with science because that was not who she was or how she got trained.
I don't think really anyone did.
Right, but remember she's in that dance medicine conference, right? So she's a little bummed out, and she sort of is walking around, and I guess she runs into Eve Gentry teaching something, and she popped her head in, and she was like, oh, look. This is kind of what I do, which made her feel so much better because she was like, oh, look, someone who does kind of what I do. Yeah. Which she loved. And when you look at their work, it's really similar. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities in there. And the stuff they made up, I was like, oh, yeah, I know this. Yeah. Yeah.
And Eve's was very soft with people working with people in pain, but it was still what Kathy was doing. It was amazing.
Yeah. So there's an overlap there.
And did they become friends, or they just?
I don't think so.
She just knew her that way.
I think she just knew her that way. I don't really think they became friends. We'll have to ask Michelle Larson. She'll know. Yeah.
We wanted to talk about and perhaps show a little bit of the differences between the way Kathy would teach something and then, say, the way Romana would teach something, because Blossom was talking about like showing up at Romana's and being like, what? Yeah. So we're going to cut for a second and then we'll show you some stuff.
One of the things I love about being trained by Romana and Kathy was the moments where I would see sort of an intersection where I go, oh, they were doing the same thing just in different ways. So, like there's more than one way to skin a cat kind of thing. So in the transition between saw, right, and going onto your tummy into swan or single leg kick, Romana did what she called the neck roll. So when you're ready, come up on your elbows. You're in your Sphinx position. That's exactly it. And so I'm not going to break this out. I'm just going to have you lift. So from here, find that nice internal lift of the tummy, right? Using those arms, you're going to turn your head to one side, keeping the nice lift and integrity of your body. You're going to drop your head as you go down, around, and to the other side. Look straight ahead and just have a moment there. Breathe. Inhale, look in the opposite direction that you started, and really drop your head and go down, around, and to the other side, and look straight ahead. He's going to do it one more time. I'm going to make sure he's being honest. I have my hand right at his tummy. You're going to look to the right. Drop your head. Really drop it. Drop. Thank you. Last time. I know you think it's down. Look to the other side and really drop the head. So you have to lift the belly as you yes. That's right. And look straight ahead. So staying here, you're now going to come back onto your tummy and rest. So Romana had this little head warm-up interlude, and so did Kathy, but hers was a little different. So Martin, you're going to bring your arms down by your sides and turn your head and look toward me. Yeah. And just relax the shoulders. By the way, if you have big boobs, I can't help you. Or if you're nursing, I don't know what to tell you. So it just doesn't last very long.
Skip this one.
Exactly, skip it. Or don't hang out here very often. So double leg kick is number 14 in Mr. Pilates' Return to Life book, right? So Kathy had this lovely name for this called number 14 head only. Rolls right off the tongue. Right off the tongue. I'd be like, really, Kathy? Anyway, she goes, yes, that's what it's called. So when you're ready, you're going to gently, that's how I say it. I'm going to teach it how Kathy would say it. She would say, someone comes along and gently caresses your shoulders up off the ground. Just the shoulders. Easy does it. Just the shoulders. That's exactly it. Good. When you're ready, you're going to lift your head, look down at the floor. Hold it there for a moment, and as you exhale, look up toward the ceiling. Stretch your jaw muscles. Exactly. Inhale, look back down at the floor. Give me a long spine. This is a hard moment to find, a spine alignment. Turn your head to the other side, and just relax. Relax. That one. Yeah, here we go. So someone comes along and gently caresses your shoulders off the ground. And if you did it too fast, Kathy would say, That how you say hello to someone who's coming to caress your shoulders? Lift your head, look down at the floor, right, because you don't need all that tension. It's not that much work. Yes, stretch your jaw muscles looking up toward the ceiling. And from here, you can add as much upper back as you want to. Yeah, inhale, look back down at the floor. So really find that long spine, my favorite moment right here. Turn your head to the other side and just let the shoulders relax, droop. That's it. Yeah, so it's really interesting to me that they both inserted at the same place this little head, neck warm-up before a single leg kick, double leg kick, and swan. Fun, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't have to say it's fun, but I think it's fun. When you're ready, you can just push back, sit on your heels.
Yeah, I love it. Can we just talk a little bit about the towel? The moments in between here.
Yes, the scandal.
When I showed up at Kathy's, she was like, "Now get your towel," or "Where's your towel?" And you got in trouble if you didn't have your towel under your head at all times, which I understood was something at Joe's studio too. You see, old pictures.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think she must have gotten it from there because everywhere in all the old pictures in Joe's studio, someone always has a towel under their head.
Oh, well, I once tried to bring in my own towel.
Oh.
Well, just because I was like, that way you don't have to wash it. I think I'd help you out. She's like, I don't know where that towel's been. Like, this is like, I had known her for 10 years. It's like, really? I had to put my towel back in my bag and get one of her towels. Yeah, I know the towel. And the towel, but yeah, she created the whole like exercises around the towel, all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah. But the towel was...
The towel definitely went with you everywhere you went, and then it went into a basket.
Oh yeah, no, everything had its place.
Yeah.
We're going to do the roll up, and so Martin, when you're ready, head always on the towel. Head on the towel. And I'm going to even be nice and give you the nice little foot strap we have somewhere here. Ooh, you're welcome. And so you want, pull yourself back enough so that your the strap is taut. Yeah. So at Romana's, the roll-up was, so give me straight arms up to the ceiling. Yes. Hell yeah, thank you. That was the other thing about Kathy. She would mess with you. If you weren't listening, she'd just like, she'd say, that's not the ceiling. You have to really listen. And sometimes she just messes with you just to make sure you're listening. In fact, when I was demonstrating, sometimes they would look at me and be like, I don't know what she wants either. Just follow along. So when you're ready, Martin, bring the arms over your head. Take a moment to stretch. And when you're ready, show me your roll-up, please. You're going to bring your arm. Yep, I'm going to be quiet. So often when people come in, I just like to see how they do stuff. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. He just moved. This is his first move of the day. Start to roll back when you're ready. Mm-hmm. And as you exhale, lie down. Do that a couple more times. So yeah, this is how it was at Romana's. I think you're not going to hit the bar. Do a few more times. Inhaling to come up. And Kathy was often get the rap, especially around when I got certified, that she didn't do a lot of Pilates. And it's kind of true. She didn't do a lot, but because she went so slowly sometimes.
Right.
But eventually she'd go fast. So go forward again, Martin, and give yourself a nice stretch. So this is how Kathy would often teach the roll-up, and the first one as well, especially. So lie down again. You're going to bring your arms over your head, take a moment to stretch. Now stay there. And if I were Kathy, she'd do the flappy hand slap so that you really get the ribs down. That helps, right? So say out loud, 1.
1.
This is Kathy's 10 count roll-ups. Bring your arms up to the ceiling and say 2.
2.
Lift your head up and say 3.
3.
Rest your head back down. So I want you to lift your head like you're going to go into your hundreds. Okay. 3.
3.
So see this next wrinkle of your shirt? You're going to come up to it. A little bit more. Stop right there. Count 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
He's going to come up to his next wrinkle. Right there. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Laughing's breathing too. Come up a little bit more. Right there. Count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Then go forward, count slowly. 1. He's going to keep counting slowly to 10. So Kathy would make you stop at those points, right? Because we all sort of lurch and fly forward.
Through the hard part.
Through the hard part. That's exactly it. And start to roll back. Keep counting. What number? Yeah, keep counting. 1. Yes, 2. Push out on those legs. Use those feet. I'm going to help you curl.
5.
Yes, love.
6.
Yes.
7.
Yes, and then when it came time to do it in mat class, it would be this fast. You ready for me? Inhale up, exhale forward, and roll back. Lie all the way down. Inhale up, exhale forward. She would go this fast, but only when she felt you were ready and warm. Inhale up, exhale forward, and then sometimes do it again. You're going to inhale and reach up to the ceiling and hold it. So come on up, hop, right there, hold it. So she would hold you right here. There's a natural
at your
pause. Exhale, go forward. Roll back, find that hard part again. Hold it. Exhale, lie all the way down. So again, she'd say there's a natural pause between the inhale and come up. Hop. exhale, go forward. And I always think Romana actually had that in her too.
She does too.
Yeah, lots of like fun rhythm.
The rhythm comes in, and there's a lot of little pauses with your breathing.
Yes.
Like for example, on say if you're doing some arms on a small barrel, you're pausing before you go back. You're pausing before you go down.
That's the thing. It's all in there. It's all these. It's the same
just
tricks.
Just a little bit different way of talking.
Yeah.
It's like
like literally, Kathy would make people talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant. I mean, you just saw how much you were shaking. And just your little cue of lifting into your hundreds position, your ribs came in and you bent your whole body instead of just your neck. It was amazing.
Yeah, because, especially if I always have this thing, if I'm teaching Kathy's work, I better do it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I think, I mean, it actually going through that, it's hard for me to even see the difference in the movement, what Romana was doing or what Kathy was doing. It's the same. They just had a different little way of going about it, their own personal way.
So, I mean, I do that all the time. You see someone, you're like, they could really use more strengthening in that
figure out
first
some way.
part. Right, or they need, that's it. And we all have hopefully the same kind of toolbox.
Right.
But,
Right, and Romana might have just come along and said, no, get up from here, or not even said it or whatever.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, we all have our own technique depending on our day. So when I see sort of this idea of like where we're really all doing the same movement, and especially from my training with Kathy, and I get so frustrated with this whole like, I've had an identity crisis of like, am I classical or am I contemporary? Like, what am I? Because I've had that like teenage like, who am I really?
Right.
And it's sort of this. It's again sounds so new agey where if I just like let it all go and really like look for the common humanity, the common like things between the groups, then I have a good time. And it's really not, if we can just stop being so judgy, I agree. Yeah, because I think we can be so much more powerful and united if we could just have that voice of like, Pilates is great no matter how you do, like whatever you do, like, and it's a journey, right? As you know, like, and it's definitely a journey, and that's kind of the fun part. Yeah.
And there are wonderful teachers really in every camp.
And you can learn from everyone and anyone.
Definitely.
Even if it's you learn and go, oh, I don't like that so much. Even if that's what you learn, it's valuable. And then can you say what it is that you don't like?
Right.
Right. That's, and that's okay too, because I am not everyone's cup of tea, and I shouldn't be. And it's sort of like,
that's very true. Yeah. Exactly. You find the teachers that speak to you at that time in your life.
Right. Like I say to new clients, right? Like, hey, by the way, if you try it and then you think you like Pilates, but maybe not the teacher, try someone else, because you have to have someone that communicates to you the way that makes sense to you, and then if not, then find someone else, because it'd be terrible for someone to not get to do this method because...
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Blossom, for having us.
Thanks, guys. Come back to Brooklyn, kids. You too.
Thank you.